Okay, the next one is for dates. So we can define, we have different types of data types, right? We saw this before. We have integer, long, double, char, string, Boolean. We also have a type called date, which will reserve 8 bytes of memory. Remember, each byte consists of 8-bit. Each byte consists of 8 bits, so that's 8 bytes times 8 bits. That's 64 bits. Or we can say 64 different switches in the memory. Remember, I said that the memory is made up of switches that are on or off. And so each switch is a bit. So 8 bytes, each byte has 8 bits or has 8 switches in it. So we have 8 bytes, so that's 8 times 8. So a date will reserve 8 times 8 bits or 8 bytes or 64 switches, however you want to say it. Okay, so we have a date type, and that will have, of course, that will be hopefully store a date. A date time pair stored as a 64-bit 8-byte integer. Each increment represents 100 nanoseconds, 10 to the negative second seconds of elapsed time. So that's a little bit confusing, but if we have 64 bits, we can make many, many different sequences. In fact, 2 to the 64 different sequences. And as you increment from one sequence to the next, you're basically incrementing 100 nanoseconds. Okay, I won't go into that. The range of values is the smallest value you can have is January 1st, and this is at 1. And this goes up to this year. Okay, so it's kind of a long period of time. And the time is from midnight to this time. Okay, variables of type date are declared in the normal way. So how do we do it? So we say, this could be like x. Dim x as date. So just like before, we say the name of the variable x, or in this case he's calling it the date, as, and then we say the type, in this case date. Okay, now before, when we declared a string, we would say like dim x as string, and then we would put quotation marks around the string, right? But when you're declaring a date, you're supposed to put these hash marks or pound marks around it, okay, to show that it's a date. However, when assigning a value to a date, it must be enclosed in the pound signs in the format shown above. Month, day, year, hour, hour, minute, second, and AM, PM. TT stands for AM, PM. So here we have month, day, year. And the years has to have 4 digits in it. The day has to have 2 digits in it. And the month, I thought it has to have 2 digits in it, but it only has 1. Maybe this doesn't have to have 2 digits either. Maybe that's optional. Okay? And so on. When converting a date to a string, for instance, for display or printing, by default, the date and the time portions are rendered according to the local settings of your computer. Of course, you may apply the format function to format as desired, as we learned in lecture 2.